Winter storms are still walloping much of the U.S., from New Jersey to the Pacific Northwest, and a rift is deepening between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Biden administration. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Forecasters say winter storms are still walloping parts of the U.S. Warnings are up from the Midwest to West Virginia to New Jersey. There's a ground stop at Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. In the central U.S., wind chill values are far below zero. In the Pacific Northwest, National Weather Service meteorologist Zach Taylor says another winter storm will bring fresh ice to the region.
Overall, the ice accumulation should be relatively on the lighter side, but anytime you see any kind of ice accumulations on power lines and roads and things like that, it could continue some of the hazardous travel.
The tracking site poweroutage.us says more than 100,000 customers in Oregon have lost electricity. Despite the wintry weather in the nation's capital, anti-abortion activists will gather today for their annual March for Life. This began to oppose the Supreme Court's Roe decision legalizing abortion. That decision has been overturned. 16 states now severely restrict abortion. But data suggests that in the year after Roe was ended, abortions in the U.S. increased. A rift is deepening between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Biden administration amid the Gaza war. A similar rift is growing in Netanyahu's own war cabinet, as NPR's Daniel Estrin reports from Tel Aviv.
Netanyahu rejects the idea of a future Palestinian state in the West Bank and Gaza. Netanyahu said in a press conference, Israel must hold security control over the entire territory, and he rejected the idea of Palestinian sovereignty. In response, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says countries have committed to helping rebuild Gaza after the war only if there's a path to a Palestinian state. Also, a senior official associated with Israel's war cabinet, Gadi Eisenkot, is publicly opposing Netanyahu's claim that continued military bombardment in Gaza is needed to lead to a hostage release deal. He told Israeli TV that only a ceasefire deal can release Hamas's remaining Israeli hostages. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Former New Jersey Governor Christie is out of the GOP presidential contest, and supporters are looking for another option. NPR's Tamara Keith reports from New Hampshire.
They knew he didn't have much of a shot at winning the nomination, but they liked his willingness to take on former President Trump directly and figured Christie would hang on at least through the New Hampshire primary. Now, most Christie supporters we spoke to are giving former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley a closer look. That includes Alan Castellano.
Well, since Christie is no longer in the race, this is my next choice.
Castellano is an independent who voted for Trump in 2016, but fears what it would mean for the country if he's elected again. Tamara Keith, NPR News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
You're listening to NPR News.